So there isn't any harm in just running through the agenda really quick, Mr. Jones, if you want to. But again, it's not a quorum situation, so many of these items would pull right back over to the next meeting.
Right.
And we'd be in the same spot. So totally up to you.
Yeah, okay, I'm looking at my clock here and it shows 4:42, 12 minutes past the start time. Uh, and I'm about to, uh, for the members present, Darlene, Bendy, and myself, and of course the staff, recommend that, um, as we know, we can't take action on any item without a quorum, but call the meeting to order, get it going. And then for those items that we can connect on by way of background information, we take it into account and then spend a short, brief period reflecting on the what we learned last week, how the value it may bring to our individual evaluations, and then try to do what we can to reach out to members whose schedules, I know their schedules are getting tight with the holidays coming up and family commitments, but we got to find a way to conduct the business officially and get it going. So let's call this meeting to order, and we will follow the agenda where possible, skipping those items where we know we need a quorum. All right. So, and also maintaining great interest in your time and talent for this evening. So as I look at the agenda, we cannot approve minutes going back to October 29. We didn't have a quorum last week. Couldn't approve the minutes. Communications with the public and media. This is something that I think we want to bring to you all, the members, tonight by way of an update. And I think we can do that because we're not going to take action, but it's just information only. So I'm going to ask Barb to bring us up on the discussions, actions following the articles written in State Journal and Cap Times regarding the renaming process. So we'll give her a few minutes to bring us up to speed on that issue.
So the members should have gotten an email from me that provided the two articles that Mr. Jones is referencing. One was the Cap Times, the other was a Wisconsin State Journal article. Did you all, were you all able to receive that? I'm sorry, Mr. Murray is calling me. One moment, please.
Okay.
Okay, I apologize. Mr. Murray was asking for a little technological help.
Okay.
So, two articles. So for the people who are here tonight, I'm not sure. Can you tell me if you saw those articles or if you did not? You did see them. Okay, so that helps. So, the Cap Times article was pretty good coverage. The Wisconsin State Journal, we had a few issues with that one. One was about there was a little bit about the person who wrote the article was making claims about people who got the highest scores. And that, in fact, was not something that should have been reported out because the committee had not had a chance to even look at the rubric scores and take any action on that. So the information that article provided was jumping the gun. And so we have written back to that reporter about those couple of things that were in the article. She also made a claim about one of the proposals for Lori Mancari and was talking about Lori Mancari and described her as an educator, and we do not have information about that either. So again, it was jumping the gun. It was ahead of the committee. It very well could, taint the results of the committee because there were people who had not yet submitted their rubric scores. So we are working with the Wisconsin State Journal about that, and also considering maybe doing something proactively to describe for people in the media exactly what this process is and just kind of get ahead of that so people are more aware of how this works and what the timelines are and what the committee actually does when they get a naming. So we are considering that as well. That is in the works right now. So we work with our communications team at the MMSD about that directly. And we should know something more about that definitely before your next meeting on December 3rd.
Gotcha. All right. Excellent. So any follow-up questions for Barb and the issue she's discussing? All right. Good.
There are, I know that sometimes reporters will reach out to committee members and ask them for statements or, information on what's happening with the committee. It is practice for the MMSD to authorize the chairperson of the committee to speak for the committee as a whole, or to refer media outreach to our professional people at the district and MMSD public information officer to respond directly to reporters. So if you are approached in that way, it's very helpful to let us know that so that we can respond to reporters for sure and anyone else who's asking for information because we want to be responsive. But we do have a practice of letting either the chairperson or the district spokesperson to handle media outreach.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. Thank you, Mr. Murray, for joining us. Glad you're here. All right. So we can't take action on many of the items on the agenda tonight. So we're just going to touch base on those items that don't require a quorum or action by the body. So we just went through an update from Barb about articles written about the renaming of the Southside Elementary School. And she shared with the committee the two articles where they came from and one in which we have, or the district is seeking to work with that author of the article to clarify and correct some of the statements made in that piece. All right, so next item that we can have information on is review of public comments submitted to date. Any new comments, Barb, that's been submitted?
There was just one, and it probably shows up at the very bottom of the report. I can share that with you if you like.
Right.
It actually, it came in on the 13th of November, and the comment was just this, Air-C Green. That's all it says, Air-C Green. So that's the most recent update to the public input.
Right. And if I recall, that was one of the names on the proposal that's already in the mix, isn't it?
Right. So that kind of sounds to me like they're in favor of a proposal, to name the school after that person.
Gotcha. Right.
Right.
Okay. And item number 5, research on each proposed name. As you know, we decided to hold off until we whittle down to the final group, and then that actual hard dive into the background of those proposals, the research would take place. So we're keeping that item on the agenda. We know it's going to be a necessary piece for information gathering, but no action, if I'm stating this correctly, Bob, but no action has been taken on any of the proposals at this time.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. So we're still good with that particular piece of the process. All right. So the next item was the update on each proposed name, and we can't take any action on those. I do want to thank the members for their time and attention last week, where we took a look at the ranking tool and we took a look at the process that Barb shared with us. So that's going to be very valuable when we get to the vote. But I had 2 questions on this item that we can speak to, I think we can speak to tonight. Number 1, Barb, has any more recommendations from committee members come to you?
No, they have not.
Okay. So as it stands, we have 4 members who submitted their evaluations.
Five.
Five.
Five total.
Oh, total 5. Gotcha.
Yep, yep.
And we're waiting on other members. We're giving them all opportunities to get them in. My question to the group is, how long do you want to wait? What does it take to move this thing forward? If we have 5 recommendations, that really is a quorum for this committee. So let's talk about that for a minute. What about having received 5? What kind of a timeline do you want to place on the receipt of others? Floor is open. How about it, Darlene? Oh, you're muted. Okay. She should be right back with us. Okay, there she is.
I fully admit that I'm multitasking right now. Um, I think if 5 is quorum, maybe we give them like one last warning, like please get them in. Maybe get through the Thanksgiving, I think. We'll give people that amount of time, but like by Monday, and then whatever we have by Monday. I think we've been dragging this process out quite a bit. I think it's time to just start to make some choices.
Okay, I hear you. And just, you got the floor, Brother Ed. What do you think? Oh, you're muted.
Yes, I was kind of on the lines of my counterpart there. She kind of said pretty much just to try to encourage and pretty much send it out, but try to have a deadline on what we're going to do or when they should have it in, and that might speed it up. I don't know.
I hear you. All right, keep it moving, Benji.
Yeah, I'm just seconding the comments of everyone else. I think we should have some kind of deadline, and if 5 is quorum, then 5 is quorum. I think the people who can and are willing to show up to the meeting will, and folks who are unable won't. But that shouldn't deter us from moving forward.
All right, gotcha. So given that, I think what I would recommend is Barb and I confer on a note to all members, even though you all will know the content, encouraging them to get their evaluations in, offering any assistance that we can make available to them, but to firmly state that we have deadlines that we want to meet, and the board has timeline obligations that they want to meet. So we'll just raise the stake a little bit and try to promote it as best we can, but all being positive. I think we get more positive reaction from our members by encouraging and supporting, but at the same time, indicating our need. We do have a need to get these things in. All right. So Barb, you and I have a task following this meeting to draft a polite but firm request to all members, even though, like I said, you all will know where we're going with this. Gotcha. I wanted to ask that question only because I know what it took for me to go through all those applications, so I know you all had the same task, but we weathered the storm. So I'm sensitive to that, but at the same time, also understanding that there's a lot of interest out there about this naming process. And I think the public is saying, okay, we're waiting. So at least we want to show that we are moving positively toward the conclusion of the renaming process. All right, that's good. Now that's going to be helpful. So I guess when I looked at the agenda, I didn't have any other thoughts about the deliberations because as I said, we were going to wait to see if we had a quorum and also wait to see if we had more proposals coming in. So I guess I'm just going to bypass or table that item. But I would open up the floor if you have any comments about last week's presentation on the ranking and on the evaluation that Barb laid out. You can certainly ask them at this time for any clarifications about those two models. Okay, if not, I think you all are ready to move forward. And this is an item that Barb just asked me about, which was to talk a bit about the upcoming meeting on December 3rd. We've already set the meeting. We go back to our original time frame, which is 6 to 8 on the 3rd. And we wanted to find out if that's still workable for each of you. And also if the following week, the 10th, was going to be doable. So let's take a look at your calendars if you can, and let us know how the 3rd and the 10th look, because I think in this communication that we're going to send out to all members, we'll let them know that the last two meetings didn't have a quorum, and that we will be looking to have a quorum on the 3rd so that we can conduct that kind of a tone. So how does December 3rd and 10 look for each of you? Oh, you're muted, Ed. Oh, you're still muted. Okay.
Can you hear me now? Yeah, I apologize. I'm having issues. I'm on my phone doing this because my laptop just, oh boy. Anyway, yes, I think the 3rd and of December, both dates are good for me. So
Thank you.
Okay, got it. And if I got it correctly, Benji, both dates were good for you, as you reported earlier, right? Gotcha. Okay, and for me too. So I'll chime in saying they're good for me. And Darlene, how about you? 3rd and the 10th. Oh, you're muted.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
December 3rd, I might be multitasking again. December 10th, I'm out of town.
Okay. That's good to know. Gotcha. All right. And well, I didn't ask, but Barb, I think you came up with these dates, but I guess we should keep in mind that Dr. Anu and Jesse would be available on those dates as well. They should be. I'm just asking if they're going to be okay with them.
Should be fine, Mr. Jones, for me. I'll make it happen. This
All
is
right.
on.
Yep, same for me. I should be able to make it happen.
Okay. All right. So, actually, you all, that brings us to another abbreviated agenda, the closing of the agenda. And I think, like I said earlier, I'll do my best to reach out to the members, encouraging them to help us meet quorum so that we can conduct the business. But I also understand we're getting into that busy part of the year, family obligations, holiday obligations, travel obligations. So we want to be mindful, but yet we want to be as effective as we can be. All right.
I did raise a question to Barb and Dr. Abby earlier that I just wanted to lift in this space too. So Southside is a community school, which is like, I think formally it's like a national organization that kind of brings additional supports to our building. My question is, I don't know if we are formally a community school or not. I think if we are formally, the ask tends to be that community school is included in the name. So whatever we end up name community school.
Right.
So
Good
just
point.
wanted to kind of put that on everybody's radars as we're thinking the next steps.
Good
Yes,
point.
thank you, Darlene. We do have that information, and we are working with our legal counsel about that.
Okay.
Good. All right. And I'm glad to know, that's good to know that, and I don't know all of the details, but that whole concept of community school does place it in a different status. We need to know that. Okay.
Uh, Mr. Chair, I did have a big question also.
So,
In selecting, as we as a group, as we select the name, is it some people don't, some families, if it is named after an individual or what have you, do we need to get their permission to do these things? I mean, there are certain things that you don't want to step over without getting permission for using that name on that particular building. Am I clear?
oh yeah, you're clear. I think that's a very good question because I know we talked about for some of the proposals where you got several proposals and the name is different. But we talked about going to the family and looking at the records and getting the exact name. But that didn't include, I think that would include permission. But we didn't ask that for, let's say you have one submitter and that name rises to the top. How do we then go forward? So, Barb, can you help us out? Is that common practice to seek permission of the family, or let's say there's a sponsoring organization?
So, not as a practice that I'm aware of, no, because in any case, if you try to do that, you're not going to be able to reach the families of, say, people who lived 100 years ago, so you can't use the same process for every single proposal. But I would say, Mr. Murray, that when we get down to the 4 names, we certainly can do that. And with the people that we can do it with, where it's feasible to do it. But no, have we gotten formal permission? No, we have not. So, but we can definitely do that when we get down there.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so let's keep that in mind as we go forward.
For sure.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Good question. So just looking at the group to see if there are any other questions, thoughts, comments. And seeing none, I guess I would conclude with, I think last week I mentioned that we just have a closing statement by one of the members. And I think Benji brought that closing statement, which was well framed and well placed. So I'm going to look at Dolly. Close us out tonight.
Well, I feel like I gave Benji a prompt. Can I get a prompt? It was a framing question to answer, something like that. No,
That's a good
off the cuff.
All right. So, well, anything that comes to mind.
I feel like this is so cliche and has been said so many times, but names are just so vitally important, right? Like even though we're kind of struggling to get people on board, to attend these meetings, which is probably has more to do with scheduling than anything else. People stepped up to do this because they recognize how important it is to be able to give something a name, something or someone a name. And the kids at Southside deserve to have a building that has an established name.
Yep. All good. All right. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. I'm just scanning to see if there are any other comments, questions, or thoughts or hands. Don't see any. So we reached the end of the abbreviated agenda. I do want to thank each and every one of you for your time and talent this evening. And I think with that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn, although it's non-debatable, but for the record, let there be a motion to adjourn.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Excellent, excellent. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
Yes.
Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Be safe, everybody.
Yeah.
You too.